I'm not sure if anyone else may be able to relate to how I've been feeling and thinking here. I apologize in advance if this becomes kind of lengthy. I guess I'll start by saying that I just recently lost my dad back on October 1st at the age of 69 to undiagnosed lung cancer. He had COPD on top of it, which the doctors were treating him for initially. I don't know if maybe he didn't say anything because he'd been living with the COPD for so long that he thought nothing of it and considered it a worsening of his condition. Or if he didn't want to cause my mom to have to worry about him more than she already did. He was in and out of the hospital quite a bit over the last 10 years or so of his life for various reasons. He pulled, though, every time before then. Even had COVID once and fought that off like a champ. Except this last time, he didn't. I got a text from my mom at about 10:30 at night about a week and a half before that, saying that she had to take him to the hospital. I immediately didn't have a good feeling about this trip. He was having shortness of breath and wasn't feeling right. I just happened to wake up about midnight, maybe a little after, and happened to check my phone when I saw that message. She told me that, despite it all, he was in good spirits. He even texted me maybe a day or two later to let me know he's doing okay. He was eating, got some good rest, and told me he loves me. I took this as a good sign. Little did we know he was experiencing terminal lucidity. He wound up having an X-ray done to see what was causing him to feel this way, and the doctors discovered a mass in his lung. They wanted to do a biopsy on him to see if it was cancer or not. He wound up calling me on the 24th of last month too. Let me know all of this, and made it a point to tell me once more how much he loves me. I could hear it in his voice that he was both scared of the possible outcome and physically tired. Yet his positive nature showed through. Days later, he had the biopsy done, and it turned out to be cancer. He had plans to fight it with radiation. Upon making that decision, the days leading up to October 1st, there was a rapid decline. He stopped eating almost entirely and slept those last few days. That Sunday, though, is when I got the text from my mom saying that the rehab facility he was staying at, he had a minor injury he was also being treated for, had called her saying that he was unresponsive and was having shallow, labored breathing and had to take him back to the hospital. Upon taking him back and getting him back in a room, they pulled my mom aside and told her that she should consider hospice, which she did. While they made him comfortable, the oncologist spoke with her and said that the cancer had spread to his liver. She was giving me updates from the time he went in just days before, up until the moment he passed, that he was dying. For 47 p.m. she had told me he had passed. My entire world had just stopped. I had been crying the entire day leading up to that moment. Hearing that just tipped me over the edge. I felt like I cried for almost a week straight after that. My dad was the first person in my life that I lost that I was actually close to. He's the first major loss I'd ever experienced in my life at almost 40 years old. Not even my estranged grandparents hit me like this. Sure, I was sad when they died. But it's hard to mourn someone that you've grown apart from. My mother-in-law's passing a couple years back hurt more than theirs. My dad's, though, made me feel something on a whole new level that I didn't think was possible. I know now what it's like to really lose someone you truly love and care for. And it's one of the most fucking awful things anyone can experience. What ate me up inside, though, was not being able to be there since it had all happened so fast. There was no way I could have hopped on a plane and made it there in time. And I regretted selfishly using my paid vacation time just 3 weeks before this all happened. If I knew what was to come, I wouldn't have used it to catch up on housework and play video games for a week. The biggest things I've found, though, from this whole experience and learning to process it all, is that nobody tells you exactly how exhausting grief is. Nor is it something you can prepare for, since it all hits at random times. Days that you feel okay physically, you're tired mentally and emotionally from it all, running through all the thoughts and feelings you had about the person you've lost. And the days that you feel okay mentally and emotionally, you're physically spent because of all the energy put into processing said thoughts and feelings. It's lead to that depression phase of the grief stages. What's just as hard as that is the anger that seems to coincide with the depression for me, anyways. Getting angry and irritable, either because you're just exhausted all around, just being angry for no reason at all, or not even being able to pinpoint exactly why you're feeling angry first place. You just know that you have no energy for anything. I have also realized how important it is to acknowledge and process those feelings of grief and loss. It's good and bad when they happen. Otherwise, ignoring them will just make things much more painful and harder as time goes on. I've seen people spiral from unresolved feelings of loss and grief, and it's not pretty. On the upside of things, the positives that I've been able to process from all of this is knowing in the end what kind of man my dad was. He wasn't perfect by any stretch. There were moments in our relationship too where we were distant and didn't get along well. When I look back on it, I understand why he would tell me that he wished he was around more and treated my mom and I better, the closer we became in the last few years of his life. I look back and think that I wish things were different between he and I wish I were nicer to him and wasn't so resistant when he initially began to change his ways. Those last few years, though, are what I look back on, though, and how we reforged a relationship with one another, and I began to realize exactly how much he actually loves me. He was one of my biggest supporters in life. He always encouraged me to make progress in my life and keep pushing forward to make things happen. And he was so proud of even the most minor accomplishments I'd made in life. I'll always remember and carry that with me in memory of him. It's the best way I can think to honor him as well is keep doing just those things. Make progress, keep moving forward, and stay positive even when the chips are down. Because that's who he was and what he'd want for me in life. I love and miss you, Dad. I know you're still never far when I need you.